We're back. Mike here, Money, Marriage, and Media, and we're at Lapeef Jr. with the solution. Black men want to hold black women accountable for the community as leaders. And just like that, we want to lead this channel to 600 subscribers this month, right? Absolutely. Remember, guys, like the video. And we're going to go ahead and get started. We are with the panel. Married women include Miss Taken. Curtis for Life looks like she might be off camera. I'm assuming she'll be back at some point. We have the licensed mental health professional, Nelson, as part of the conversation. And let's go ahead and kill that noise. Okay. But yeah, let's go ahead and see what we got, because I think I know where this conversation is going. Because if you remember the last time we were talking about, leadership in the community, or black women being held accountable, particularly black women who are on YouTube and the people in the comments who are claiming to hold them accountable.
These passport bros are running overseas, taking the women of other men products. Like, these women are the
Is this a preview? JR, you've been getting me like that. You start off with these previews and I'm instantly reacting to it like it's part of the show.
way they are because the men in their culture are not y'all. And y'all are running over there trying to go get these women because the men in that society is not like y'all.
I think it's really important
Preview. I knew it.
like really talk about the dynamic, right? Because the dynamic between black men and women is significantly different than it is between white men and white women.
Mm-hmm.
Black women have always been leaders alongside their men. When we look at a lot of the political movements, a lot of the social movements, there have been women there that have been at the forefront of it. They were not always the ones leading it.
Black men want to hold black women accountable for the community as leaders, right? But when you think about the single motherhood rate, white men blame black men for the single motherhood rate in the fatherless homes. You know why? Because you go on TikTok, you see a white woman with a black man, you're going to go through them comments and they're going to say, oh, she's going to become a single mom. You don't find those type of comments when there's the other way around, with a black woman with another race of men. But when there's a black man with another race of women, other races of men say she better be prepared to become a single mother. So other races of men look at black men like they are the problems because they are not being the leaders in our community and stepping up. They have excuses of why they leave the home. Your mama was nagging me. That's
TikTok is a validated source of information now. Is that what we doing? Okay, I can't believe she just said that. Wow. Well, if we go in there, let's go ahead and go. Let's go all the way. Let's go all the way.
why I ain't shit. I couldn't get a job if your mama just let me not be financially responsible and protect me. I would have been there for you, little Billy. And so now little Billy mad at his mama for, pushing his daddy away. That's what it seems like a lot of these men are mad about. I saw a video the other day, a man shouting at a black woman saying, my daddy wanted to be there, but my mama kept him away. And I'm like, there's two sides to the story. No, hold women accountable. And it's like, we're the only community that want to hold women as like.
But B. Taylor.
You know what I heard on TikTok? This is interesting. 54% of black men are single and childless. 30% are married. So if we add those two together, 54% of black men are single and childless, plus the 30% that are married. That's 84%. Minus probably about a 3 to 4% variance in there. So 80% of black men are not having kids out of wedlock. So we got less than 20% that are. versus about 40 over it's between 45 and 48% of black women who have children. Period. Just children altogether. A vast majority of those are out of wedlock. So let's say it's 48% have kids. Out of that 48%, out of 100% of women, between 26 to 28% are married. So all these kids who are born out of wedlock, all these baby mamas are messing with less than 20% of guys. It's less than 20% of guys who are fathering all these out of wedlock kids. Now, did it used to be higher than that? Absolutely. But again, the self-improvement thing has said that we need to stop having these kids out of wedlock. So, we always, the first thing that one of the big talking points in the gender war is black men, they just having all these kids outside of wedlock and they leave the women high and dry. No, it's less than 20% of all black men that are doing that. The other 80%, we're holding each other accountable, saying that, hey man, it's not cool to have kids out of wedlock, bro. Try and get married first, or just don't have any kids. The vast majority of black men seem to be in agreement with that. So, what exactly are we talking about? But let me guess, the white man that she was listening to that was telling her that probably didn't pay attention to that stuff, though, right? So I find it interesting that, well, you know what? We're going to hear what Nelson has
Taylor,
to say
I
about
think
that.
it's really
black man,
important
so.
to really talk about the dynamic, right? Because the dynamic between black men and women is significantly different than it is between white men and white women.
Mm-hmm.
Black women have always been leaders alongside their men. When we look at a lot of the political movements, a lot of the social movements, there have been women there that have been at the forefront of it. They were not always the ones leading it or campaigning it or strategizing it, but they were definitely at the forefront supporting and enforcing the policies that were put behind leaders, right? That doesn't happen with a lot of other cultures. So this idea of holding women accountable to some degree for community, I think makes sense in the black community because women are leaders or have always been leaders alongside their men. The dynamics have changed depending on the time period, right? Depending on what society looks like, what community looks like, what family looks like, that's shifted a little bit when you look at that over time. It makes sense to also hold women accountable.
Well,
that doesn't happen in a lot of other societies.
yeah,
right? When
but
you look at a lot of other races and cultures, their women don't show up like that typically.
But that's what black men are saying they want, that these passport bros are running overseas, taking the women of
She about to hold another L. As soon as you bring up the passport bros, you immediately lose the argument. Why? Because what percentage of black men are actually leaving this country to go live in another country? Seriously, just think about that for a second. Most men can't afford to do that. So what are we talking about here? It's another exception to the rule. Well, you're gonna base your argument on an exception. You're gonna have to hold the L.
other men products. Like, these women are the way they are because the men in their culture are not y'all. And y'all are running over there trying to go get these women because the men in that society is not like y'all.
Well,
So that
Again, who is this y'all stuff? Because over 80% of black men in this country would prefer to have a black woman. So who specifically is she talking about? Or are we just caught up in some YouTube talking points that are part of the gender war, which is dumb? That's why you got to hold the L on this stuff, because again, all you're doing is perpetuating it. Well, the passport bros do this. What percentage of men is that again? The gender war is dumb. We still need each other. Men need women. Women need men. You see them going back and forth about this stuff. There's another point here, and I think Nelson is about to address it because if he doesn't, I definitely will.
I think we do. So, in regards to other races of men having these opinions of black men, they're idiots. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know anything. They don't know anything about our community other than what they see on TV. So I don't hold any kind of weight to anything.
Are they looking at that or the statistics though? Because when they see
I just gave you the statistics. 54% of black men single and childless, 30% are married. So where all these out of wedlock babies coming from? The same small group of guys, same minority group of guys.
single black mom, they look at the dad. They don't look. They don't look at the.
They
women.
do. The men, the white men that I know, they do point fingers at the men. They hold men accountable. They are really big on love.
Yeah, there's a reason for that, and we're gonna get there. I promise.
The man is the lead. He is the responsible party. They do.
Yeah.
Yep,
They do.
They sure do.
At least
They
the
don't know
ones
anything
that I-
about black. They don't know anything about black men. I will never.
But
give
they
them-
know that our community is wrecked, and
Okay, I couldn't take it anymore. Nelson, I got you on this one, bro, because they really trying to gang up on you here. But the reality is that, you know what I find interesting? So when guys get together and there are different races, we're getting together and talking, guess what we don't talk about? Guess what none of the other races, we're talking about white men, guess what they don't bring up? You wanna know why they don't bring it up? Because they don't really care. They only care about it when they're talking to the women. Now, why would that be? Could it be that they're trying to get laid and they're telling you what you want to hear? Now that's interesting, isn't it? Because most men will say and do anything to get laid. Uncomfortable truth about men. Most men will lie and do whatever to get laid. So is it at all possible that that man was telling you what you wanted to hear so that he could get on your good graces? So in the event that you ever thought about dating outside or trying something new, I wonder. I find that interesting that, she is so quick to believe them. Instead of, because you could have just as easily, well, you know what? Let's keep going.
they're looking at it like it's y'all. What are y'all doing? The women are working their asses off. I remember I heard an older white man say, "You know who worked the hardest out of all women are black women. Black women. That's why they love hiring black women in corporate America because they know that they work very hard."
Oh, wait.
They're committed to their jobs. They provide for their kids. They make a way out of no way, and they respect that. Like
They respect it so much that they still pay white women more. Uh-oh. Check the statistics. Black women do not out-earn white women. They definitely don't out-earn Asian women. So, again, who's telling her that and why? Because statistics say something different. You want to find out about a man? What is he doing with his resources? If he's the boss down at the job and he respects you that much, why doesn't your paycheck show that? Judge a man by his actions. Who are these men? These men that are telling you that, it's the black man's fault. Okay, who are those men marrying? What type of women are those men marrying? See, this is why I say you got to start breaking this stuff down. You got to, because all we're doing is covering gender war topics right here. It's gender war. That's all it is. She has an outside source that wants to hold black men accountable, but said source is not in the community. And see what happens. This is what happens when you try and bring those outside talking points inside the community. The black men are sitting there saying they don't know what they're talking about. They don't. Now, if this was a man who is marrying in the community, if there's a man from outside the community who is marrying inside the community, that's going to carry a little bit more weight. But she didn't say that, though, did she? It makes you wonder. Like, I get the impression from B. Taylor, because I've seen her on a couple panels, she's very intelligent, which makes me wonder, why is this a talking point of hers? Is she trolling? I don't know. But
you
The
could sit down
structure-
and have a very intelligent conversation with a lot of. I hear so many older Black women say it's older white men love having conversations with Black women because of their intelligence and because of how hardworking they are. So when they
again, who are they marrying though?
these are things that I've been told
Yeah.
by older Black women in corporate America. I'm not.
I wonder why. No thought process to that. I wonder if anybody's gonna bring that up. It's just like, yeah, you're hearing that from older Black women. Let me guess, they're not married, they're single, right? I wonder why somebody was telling them that.
Not trying to knock anybody. I'm like I said, maybe controversial, but they look at the men. They look at the men, and
I want to see something.
These are things.
We're going to go back a second. I want you guys to pay close attention to B. Taylor's facial expressions. Matter
Love
of fact,
having conversations with Black women because of their intelligence and because of how hardworking they are. So when these are things that I've been told by older Black women in corporate America. I'm not trying to knock anybody. I'm like I said, maybe controversial, but they look at the men.
is she trolling or does she actually believe that? Let's review the evidence here. They're telling most likely single Black women that because there's such a low percentage of Black women who are actually married. So these women that are telling that they're probably the men that are telling these older Black women this are probably single. We know that guys will lie and do all this other stuff to have sex. We also know that Black women are not the most paid, despite the argument that she's making is that they're intelligent and all this other stuff. Okay, usually people earn what they're worth, what the company thinks they're worth. But if you're not the highest earning, if your race is not the highest earners at that job, what is that saying? And again, you want to know what men really think about types of women? What do they marry? According to her, there are these men that hold Black women in such regard, and they're blaming the Black men for the state of the community. You know what? Inside the community, we will take that. We've let this community get out of hand, and we're gonna have to get it back on track, right? But as far as people outside the community, okay, if they really believe that it's all the men's fault, we can put all the blame on the men. Why aren't the marriage rates for women going up then? It's not your fault, right? They're having all these high-level conversations because you're so intelligent. They believe that, right? Why aren't they marrying you? Why aren't the marriage rates disproportionate in the opposite direction? Why are there not more married Black women than there are Black men? There are more Black women in this country than there are Black men. Why don't the marriage rates reflect that? Especially if people who are outside the community are blaming the men and they're saying that, well, it's all the men's fault and you guys are... Somebody's lying. I'm not saying it's B. Taylor. I think she just got some bad information. I don't know. But what do I know? I'm just some guy on YouTube, married. And
They look at the men and they respect the women.
There's a completely different way that...
Wait a minute. We're going to go back because I...
At the men. They look at the men and they respect the women.
They look at the men and they respect the women. But, okay, so where are the marriages at? Right? Where are the marriages?
There's a completely different way that, Black men and white men look at power dynamics inside of relationships, some of those men, you can get with them all you want, and you're going to find out that they enjoy certain things that black men typically don't. I'm not going to say it online, but it's very different. That's all I can really say about it. Is it's different. A lot of women are looking at them as the gold standard, thinking that they do what they do what they're supposed to do, and it's the grass is greener over there.
Fetishized?
Black women are fetishized with white men, absolutely.
No, I don't. Black men are fetishized as well.
Yeah, I think it's just yeah.
That wasn't the point, though. Again, we're gonna keep the gender war going, right? But men do it too. That's what that was. But men do it too. Because what the reality is that we just uncovered a motive there. And she had to say something. Because otherwise, if we start to investigate, that whole argument she's just made starts to unravel. See? It's funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah, he said it was different, so I was just trying to figure
out. No, the thing that I'm saying that's different, I can't say online.
I think that they, why is it they appreciate their natural beauty? They don't tell them to straighten their hair. They're like, oh, wow, kinky curly hair. That's so different. What is wrong with that? I don't see nothing wrong with that.
What?
Because black women are not
hang on.
appreciate their natural beauty. They don't tell them to straighten their hair. They're like, oh, black men are fetishized as well.
Yeah, I think it's just yeah.
He said it was different, so I was just trying to figure
out. No, the thing that I'm saying that's different, I can't say online.
I think that they, why is it they appreciate their natural beauty? They don't tell them to straighten their hair. They're like, oh, wow, kinky curly hair. That's so different. What is wrong with that? I don't see nothing wrong with.
She gotta be trolling, bro. She gotta be trolling. She gotta be trolling.
That. Because black women are not fetishized enough, but the mixed race and Hispanic or foreign, what is it called? Foreign women are fetishized by black men.
Well, so going back to the passport bros thing, I think that
we've had this conversation before about the fact that dating is racist. For the most part, racists tend to stick to their own. So I'm not sure what kind of narrative B. Taylor is putting together. Again, I'm starting to think she's just trolling because I've seen her have intelligent conversations. So is she just trying to antagonize people? Is that what this is? And now we're going back to the passport bros. These guys that literally represent small minority of men. So I don't.
That is its own thing because you have to look at for a certain demographic of men, of black men inside the black community, they operate completely different. You don't hear about them. Like they're not posted in the news or on the media, anything like that, because those men are at home with their families. They work every day. They're not into all that type of stuff. So those men, I believe the passport bros are a collection of the men that are a little bit more modest, that have a traditional view of marriage, and they go overseas to get women that are more submissive. Not saying that all black women are not submissive.
Okay, we can go right there. Guys, this is a high-level conversation on this side of the camera because we had to start breaking this stuff down. Again, excuse me, major talking points of the gender war. B. Taylor brought up I'm glad she brought them up because we have to start breaking these down because, the opinion of racists outside of our community about our community, that's not new, okay? So we have to start addressing these things. Again, and the way you dispel this stuff, facts, data, and statistics. When we start breaking this stuff down, all of a sudden we can see that what's really going on here. It's just a lack of information. That's all. The information is not out there because, again, kind of like what Nelson said, men who are happily married tend to stay off social media. We actually need to start changing that. We need more married couples on YouTube. make, or any of these platforms creating content so that we get some more examples of working relationships, working marriages. Because again, the majority of the time, it's only like, for the most part, we tend to think it's either like one or two ways that a marriage can work, and anything that goes outside of those, it's not working. I'm not happy. I want a divorce. I want out. I'm gone. It's not supposed to be like that. And the only reason it's like that is because, again, we don't have enough examples out there. So we need to start making more married content going out so people can understand it. You know what? Our relationship, it's not working like the Disney fairy tale, but it does seem similar to what they got over here, and they're actually making it work. Maybe this is something that we need to try, or some adjustments need to be made, or this is a good example. Maybe we need to try something else. We got to keep this conversation going, though, because gender war is dumb and is ripping apart our community. We got to move on past this stuff. But look, guys, great conversation. Go check out the Peep JR. They're having conversations like this all the time, right? So we're definitely going to be here for it. But until then, I'm going to stay ghost to the next time. Peace.